Okay, good. Okay, I've done both of those.
Yeah.
All right, go on.
Now I noticed a trend here because I too have done this. Maybe not as much.
Yeah.
But napping in public.
Oh, yeah.
That this is an important part because you have to overcome social barriers here.
Oh, yeah.
There is a choice that,
Yeah.
and once you hit it, you've got to be okay with it.
Absolutely.
I don't care what other people think of me.
Don't care at all.
That because I too have napped in libraries.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And
great.
because you realize it's not worth the 10, 15, 20 minutes of going back to your dorm room, your apartment, whatever it is.
You can't make it. You're so tired.
Or you're just wasting that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth the sacrifice.
10 more minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Or you could get back to work. There's a lot that can be done with that 10 minutes.
Plus, it's a library, so you don't really need headphones. I could just pass out. It's quiet.
But in theory, yeah.
Yeah. And then, I'll tell you, speaking of napping in public, one of my very public naps, I was in the Louvre in Paris.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And this was our second time going. I went with friends during study abroad, and we were in Paris for 5 days.
Yeah, yep.
So we went to the Louvre, which I loved. I thought it was so cool, the museum, And so we were going through, and this was like our second round of going through it. So we had all separated, and it's huge. And I gotten separated from friends, and there's only so much I can do in a couple hours, right? So I was kind of like, and we obviously had been getting not that much sleep because we're trying to see as much of Paris as possible, like early mornings and later nights and stuff. So there was just one point in one of the second ventures through the Louvre that I found a spot in one of my favorite spots, which was like the sculptures. It was very beautiful. It was like all these Grecian sculptures in this room. And there was a bench, and I just laid on that bench, and I passed out. Like,
nice.
Super hard, once again. And, then I reconvened with my friends. But I just, and it's interesting because no one in the Louvre, got mad at me for sleeping in this, beautiful hall of sculptures with all these people around, no museum guard came over to me and was like, hey, homeless person, you can't do this.
Well, I noticed in European culture, it's far more acceptable to kind of lounge in public.
Wow, interesting.
So in Italy, all the people just sitting in the courtyards, kind of full sprawled out.
Okay. All
Maybe
right,
that's
that
just
works out.
That I remember. Yeah, I was on a, I guess a spring break trip, study abroad type thing.
Yeah.
We were in Milan. We had just gotten there.
Yeah.
And we started we got there in the morning, and you're just trying to have everybody adjust to the time. So we started right away with our day, and we had this video we were watching in a museum. It might have been a church. I don't know where we were to this day. But all I remember is apparently I was a huge distraction because we're watching this video. It is so boring. And we had you've been on the airplane, so you'd slept a little bit, but it's not good sleep.
Right.
And my head was just cocking back, and all I was doing was sleeping. and apparently it was I think people were rooting on in the back because it was this challenge of kind of waking up, trying to look and focus in, or is he going to wake up, or is he going to go out?
Go back to sleep again?
Yeah. It was great. A great nap. Really needed that day. I got no flack from that, which was a huge win. I thought, I'm oh man, you had to apply for this trip, you had to work hard to get here, and...
Oh, I'll tell you another one, falling asleep when you're not supposed to.
Oh, please.
I was in college, and we were, so with soccer, we would sometimes do away trips. Now, I didn't travel all the time with the team because I was not a starter by any means, so sometimes I wouldn't be on the travel team, but sometimes they also took everybody. So this is one of the times they took everybody, so I'm traveling with the team, and, I don't know, I guess I was tired, so we had gotten there the day before, we got to eat, then we always had to take a long walk after we went to eat, not long, but a walk, because, they want us to digest the food, and then we would go back to the hotel, go to sleep. The next morning, you gotta, do the whole routine, whatever. So this is pre-game, we're in the hotel, and our coaches have us all in, this big room. They were, showing game video, and he was giving us, the pre-game talk, and, all this strategy and junk. And at this point, I was pretty, I was kind of I knew that I wasn't going to be put in the game at this point. They were for 2 years, the first 2 years, where I really felt it might happen. And at this point, I'm kind of it's probably not going to happen. So, anyway, I fell asleep, while the coach was doing the pregame talk
Oh.
in the hotel. Oh baby, was I in trouble? So I'm nodding off. I give into it. I just fall asleep, and I'm pretty sure one of my assistant coaches saw it, but she wasn't gonna rat me out.
Aw,
which was awesome.
good girl.
But then my coach, he goes, Gabby, are you asleep? Are you, what? Gabby, were you sleeping? Like that.
Was he English?
Yeah. And I wake up and I look at him and I'm like, no, absolutely not. Of course not. And he's like, was she sleeping? And he looks around at everyone like he is enraged. He was this little English man and he was so enraged. And everyone's just looking at me. And I lied. I'm so sorry.
Gabrielle.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, Lord. You know.
Did he believe you?
And I think he just couldn't prove it. So I never gave in. You'd think, knowing me, that I would probably be like, I'm so sorry.
Would not
but
back down.
I was like, I can't. The consequences will be too bad. No one has ever fallen asleep during a pregame or something. But I was bored and it had nothing to do with me. I knew I wasn't going to be in the game. So I just fell asleep.
Fair enough.
Oh my gosh, he was enraged. And then he continued, he goes, okay, we're going to, after I kept saying no, and he goes, all right, well, moving forward, if everyone could please stay awake. It was so funny.
Well, and to be fair, he had huge mistakes for not playing you, because when you did play, the first time, didn't you score a goal in 2 minutes?
Thank you, honey.
Yes,
I did. Thank
yeah,
you.
this coach was a nincompoop.
Oh my gosh, what a guy.
I got one last napping story
Yeah.
here before we close with 5 minutes of silence, so you too can nap. We're just gonna, but you could feel like you're achieving something by listening to podcasts.
Oh wait, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Do you listen to anything while you nap, or
No,
do you
dead silence.
silence?
Silence.
Silence. Okay.
It was
Blanket or no blanket?
Oh, blanket.
Blanket.
Always need a blanket. That's
Agreed.
despite even the more utilitarian nature. You need a comforter.
You need a comforter.
Yeah. Maybe not for the backside, but you need it on the top
Ooh,
side.
so the blanket is the Holy Spirit of naps.
Yes, it is.
It's a great comforter.
Yes, it is. There you are. So,
Thank you.
in college, I was yet again prepping to be a pastor. So, and one of the things you had to take was Greek, ancient Greek.
Oy, oy, oy.
A tough language. But in our second semester of it, I think it had to be an 8 o'clock, 8:30, or a 7:50 class, somewhere along there. It was...
That's very early.
Very, very early for Greek here. No, we talked. Somebody once said in seminary, these were more sensible people. No language should ever be done before noon. It's
Amen.
It's
that part of your brain is not awake yet.
Oh no. And at 8 o'clock, my brain was not processing Greek. It was,
word.
but there were about 6 of us in this class, and it was a single row of desks, everybody filled on. So there is no hiding in this class.
No.
It is it's kind of yep, you're able to see everybody all at once.
Oh yeah.
And it was a tougher year, and I was up late playing video games often.
What?
Yes. It was not one of my more
You were
proud.
a gamer?
Yeah.
So weird.
Been very open about this.
It's just still weird to me, but go on.
I was not in a great place. But I would struggle with this class. I was also not invested. I later I got an A in Greek, and I did well in seminary as well. I pulled through in this in all the right ways. But I was not invested at the time because I was struggling in a number of areas.
Yeah.
But then I kept nodding off in this class because I'm not paying attention. I'm bored. I've been sleep deprived, and my teacher, Dr. Douglas, the most polite, gentle, and caring man. He is just I cannot express how awesome he was.
Woo-woo.
He was phenomenal. It was all my fault. It's not nobody else's but mine.
Yeah.
But he would say, and he would call on me for a problem. Probably, I don't know if he knew I was asleep or not.
Probably.
And then I wake up, I'm awake. I'm awake.
My God. Wait, I did that in one class.
Yeah.
Where I used to always pass out in biology.
Oh,
freshman year of high school. First
Oh,
of
yeah,
all,
yeah,
why do
yeah.
they have freshmen take biology? But whatever, some people like it. It was hard for me.
Sure.
But I would always fall asleep in there. you know, my teacher was a little bit boring, but
Sure.
he did us some fun field trips. So I would always fall asleep. And he was also my academic advisor in high school, so like I think he was trying to like be nice to me. So he wasn't trying to call me out for sleeping.
That's nice.
Yeah, but he knew I was sleeping because we were always, my high school was always like a Harkness table setup, which meant we're like this U shape of tables.
Oh,
like, there's not rows usually. So it's just this U of everybody, so everybody's looking at each other, helps conversation. A great setup, but not good if you're sleeping.
No. Very hard to hide
Everyone
napping.
would see me sleep, and I was so sleepy that I didn't even realize I had been sleeping for most of the class.
Oh, brutal.
So my friends, instead of the teacher, did an intervention with me at one point. They were like, Gab, like, I know you care about the teacher because you, like, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
And, like, we're worried about, like, you are, like, just sleeping right in front of him and he's not calling you out, but we're all watching it. Like, you need to not do this. Like, this is not okay. And there was one time where he called on me. I'm sure he could tell that I was sleeping. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to be in denial about it. And I woke up and I said, yeah, the squirrel. And everyone looks at me and he's like, okay, yes. How's the squirrel involved? Because he's just so nice. Like, he's trying to give me the benefit of the doubt.
Oh.
It was nothing to do with the squirrel. We're talking about like photosynthesis or something.
Hey, the squirrels
And so
are
I like looked on the board and I made up some crazy thing about how the squirrel was gonna get the sun and do this whole thing. And literally he was like, good points. Okay, so who else can share? And he just went on with it.
Oh.
And after that, I was awake. I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just say? The whole time, like, I don't know what I just said because I was dreaming a squirrel was in my dream. So, like, literally, I was dead asleep and I just said, the squirrel!
The squirrel!
And then I moved on from there. And one other guy in high school, how he dealt with my sleeping in class, which was great. I would also fall asleep all the time in calculus. And that was a class we actually called, it was still college prep class, but it wasn't AP.
Okay.
So my high school, we all called it JV Calc because it was usually like the varsity athletes that took